Hello students, this is lecture number 5, Origin of Solar System. In the previous lecture, we have discussed about origin of universe, some theories like Big Bang theory, steady state theory. And also we have also discussed about how our universe will end. From the beginning of the universe to the end of the universe, we have discussed in the previous lectures. So today we will start origin of solar system. So before starting the lecture or before starting the hypothesis and theories, we have to know some forces. Let's understand the first force, that is gravitational force. Gravitational force simply means every object of the universe attract each other with a force, and more the mass. If the mass is more, the exerting force will also be more. Let me change the color. It has more mass, the force is also more. It has less mass, the force is exerting by this object is also less. And distance played an important role. The more the distance, if distance is more between the object, force will be less, and if the distance is less, force will be more. Okay, it's just a simple understanding of gravitational force. Next one is centripetal force and centrifugal force. Remember, it is the center of the circle and an object is moving or circulating the circle. So the inward force which is exerting, it is called centripetal force, and the outward, it has a tendency to go out of the circle. This force is centrifugal force. Okay. So just remember, the inward is centripetal force and outward is centrifugal force. So let's start our first hypothesis of origin or solar system. এই হাইপোথিসিসে আমরা কি বুঝবো, যে আমাদের যে সোলার সিস্টেমটা আছে ওইটা কিভাবে ক্রিয়েট হয়েছে। দিস ইজ আ হাইপোথিসিস given by, first it was given by Immanuel Kant. He is Immanuel Kant and his Laplace. So at first Immanuel Kant, he was a German philosopher, he gave a theory related to the origin of earth. People were thinking how our earth has been created, so he founded, he was a philosopher, he founded a theory that how our earth has been created. So according to him, the earth was formed from a cold cloud of gas and dust. But after some years, a mathematician Laplace has revised his theory and he concluded that that was not a hot cloud, cold cloud, it was a hot cloud. Okay. So Kant given this theory in 1755 and Laplace have revised it in 1976. So this theory is given by both. Immanuel Kant had given the theory origin and later he had revised the theory. So till date, nebula hypothesis is the most widely accepted model for the formation of our solar system. Okay. So in the nebular theory, we will understand how our sun has been formed, how different planets have been formed, why different planets have more density, why some planets have less density, some are made up of some silicates, some are made up of gaseous component. So in this hypothesis we will discuss these things. So at the very first condition, like about 4 billion years ago, there was a hot cloud of gas and dust. Scientists have named it nebula. Okay. This nebula has collapsed and formed into a disc shape. This is the disc shape, and it is formed from the nebula. The nebula cloud, this cloud was rotating. Everything in the universe is rotating on its own axis, and it was very hot. It was rotating and rotating in very fast speed. So some gases were there. Some gases like hydrogen and helium. These are the first elements. So these gases concentrated at the center. So there are atoms of hydrogen, atoms of helium. They started to collide with each other. Their collision has started and fusion reaction has started at the center. Fusion reaction has started at the center. And at this center our sun has been formed. So sun is nothing but a hot ball where hydrogen and helium are present, and continuously there is a fusion chain reaction is going on. Clear? This is how our sun has been formed. So after the formation of the sun has been formed. After the formation of the sun, the spinning nebula collected majority material in the center. In the sun, majority material get collected. How much? Almost 99% of the disk. 99% of the disk nebula, 99% of the material has been collected by the sun. So sun is the most giant star, and our earth and different planets are rotating it. So rotation is like the nebula is rotating and sun is sitting at the center, and fusion reaction is going on here. So this reaction has happened around 4 billion years ago. After that, sun has been formed. Now the formation of planets will take place. This is the very ancient time. Okay. So nebular cloud dispersed particles develop distinct temperature zone. A temperature zone has been created. How? The materials which are closer to the sun will have high temperature. The materials which are distinct or far away from the sun, this is sun, this is the inward part, temperature is more here and temperature is less in the outer part. Okay. More we are moving outside the or far away from the sun, the temperature is getting low. So the temperature was very high close to the center, only allowing condensation of metals and silicates with high melting point. So here in the inner part of the sun or close to the sun, there are metals and silicate materials, and further from the sun, যত আমরা sun থেকে দূরে যাই তত কি হয়, টেম্পারেচারটা অনেক লো হয়, allowing condensation of lighter gaseous material. Obviously the gaseous materials will escape in this zone. From the closer to the sun, they have escaped, gaseous material have escaped in this zone. This temperature differentiation resulted in the inner 4 planets and outer planets becoming gaseous giants. So here silicate materials and metals are there, so forming the inner planets. These are the inner planets. This Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. Due to the temperature variation and silicate and metal condensation of silicate and metals, these planets are inner planets and they are more dense, and these are the gaseous giants because maximum of the gases have escaped. Which are the gases that have escaped? They are methane, ammonia, carbon dioxide and water. These have escaped in this zone. Here temperature is low, here temperature is high. So due to the temperature zone variation, these materials have formed, inner materials have formed the inner planets, and the gaseous materials have formed the gaseous giants. So different planets have been formed. These are the Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. थोड़ा बड़ा कर दो. This is Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, outer planet and inner planet. So we know that Jupiter has the biggest size. Size is very big and its gravity is also high. We have already discussed that more the mass, more the size is big, the more will be its gravity. So as the gravity of the Jupiter is high, when the nebula started to coalesce into planets, when these planets have started to form, due to the gravity of the Jupiter, gravity of Jupiter, there was a destruction. Everything was attracted, like sun is attracting every objects. Due to the size of the Jupiter, he is also attracting some materials which are present in the solar system. So there was a destruction collision. Destruction collision took place. Destruction collision took place. Due to the gravity, the movement of nearby object also become high because he is also attracting the materials. Some other planets are also attracting the materials. So as the gravity of the Jupiter is very high, he has started a collision between the particles. Due to this, our asteroid belt has been formed. Asteroid belt. Asteroid belt, according to the scientists, asteroid belt is nothing but a unfinished planet. But due to the gravity of the Jupiter, it couldn't form, and it is located between the Mars. This is Mars, and this is Jupiter. This is located here. Asteroid belt are nothing but it is formed of rock debris, and it is the boundary between the inner planets and outer planets. So we see some meteors are coming from this asteroid belt only, which are sometimes we see in the news that a meteorite can hit our earth. So these meteorites are coming from only the asteroid belt. Clear? So we have understood how our asteroid belt has been formed. So till now we have discussed about the formation of the inner planets and the materials in the inner planets and materials in the outer planets and how they have been formed, and how asteroid belt has been formed. It is formed due to the gravity of the Jupiter, as it is biggest in size in our solar system, and due to this gravity it has started a destructive collision between the materials and the formation of asteroid belt took place. Asteroid belt is nothing, it is a unfinished planet which is situated in between the Mars and Jupiter. Clear? So next, see, both the rocky planets means inner planets and outer planets, their formation has started in the same part. Like particles of dust, there were obviously in the nebula particles of dust and gas were there. So like attracts like, the dust particles attracted another dust particles, and due to the static charge, every body is having some charge, they due to the static charge and gravity they clamped into bigger in size. কি হয় মানে স্টার্টিং এগুলো ডাস্ট ছিল, তারপরে আস্তে 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 এগুলো গ্রেভিটির অ্যাট্রাকশনে মানে this is like understand, this is a dust, this is dust, so a clumps সৃষ্টি হলো, আস্তে 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 একটা কি বলে একটা প্ল্যানেটের সৃষ্টি হলো, and this is how different planets, like till now 8 planets have been formed, but it took millions of years to form these planets. Okay, the starting both rocky planets and solid planets. Rocky planets মানে inner planets, rocky planets and outer planets have solid core. Both had solid core. Core মানে তো বুঝো একদম inner পার্টটা core. Built rocky planets কি হলো more rock on the core. It has attracted the more core, but in the outer case, obviously outer planet আমরা কি দেখলাম temperature is very less, so they added gas and ice in the core. Inner planet কি হয়েছে inner planet more rock and outer planet gas and ice. Obviously the temperature low থাকার কারণে water vapor গুলো convert হলো ice and the gas like methane, carbon dioxide, this has started to coalesce into planets in core of the planets. So Jupiter and Saturn, obviously these are gas giants. They are made up of gases and they have 90% of hydrogen and helium. These gas have 90% of hydrogen and helium, but outer planet in the Uranus and Neptune, these are ice giants. Ice giants, they contain methane, ice and 20% of hydrogen and helium. So in the Jupiter and Saturn, these are gas giants made up of 90% of hydrogen and helium, and Uranus and Neptune are ice giants. They are made up of methane gas in the ice formation and 20% of hydrogen and helium. So let's understand, due to the temperature differences, one is gas giants and other two are ice giants. So they are the outer planet story has finished. One point is left, that is size variation in the planets. How size is variated in the inner planets and in the outer planets. We have seen the size variation is there. Inner planets are smaller in size and the outer planets are bigger in size. So in the initial condition, if we go back in the first part, where the nebular condition, in the original planetary nebula, there were more gas and ice and less rock materials. Like rock is also less, metals is also less. So due to this, the building material of the inner planets and outer planets were different. The inner planets got only rocks and rocks and metals, and they're very less in quantity. And the outer planets have got more building material, like more gas, more ice. So the size have got varied. And after the formation, the remaining material which are present, like hydrogen and helium, where some remaining materials were there in the solar system, due to the gravity, it has also attracted towards the outer planet. Like this is outer planet, the gravity is also high, the remaining materials get also attracted to it and they become bigger in size, and the inner planet are smaller in size. Okay, so let's understand some of the evidence which support, obviously hypothesis most accepted. So some evidence are there. First is the chemical composition of the sun and the interstellar cloud is same. Next one is planet are observed to form in other star system or other solar system, anything other star system এ কি হয় planets গুলো formation দেখা যায়. The solar system is well defined plane of rotation, that is elliptical not circular. Elliptical form এ কি হয় আমাদের planets গুলো move করে and surrounding the sun. This is sun and planets are moving in an elliptical way. It explains how the planets form in their current orbit and why they are made of different material. Already discussed different material, silicate আর কি বলে metals condensed in the inner part of the sun, and the gas giants and ice giants formed in the outer part of the sun or the outer planets. Then criticism has started. Obviously every theory, every hypothesis has some criticism. So first is it doesn't explain the source of origin of universe, origin of nebula. In nebula ta chilo, the cloud nebula was there, but from where it has come, it is not mentioned. The heat and motion, why the nebula is moving, why it is so hot in condition, it was also not explained. Then another thing is it should have little bulge, like if the sun is a nebula's remaining nucleus, obviously it was the inner part nucleus, it should have little bulges around its middle section. We have seen the nebula was in disc shaped. So according to some scientists, why there is not any bulge in the sun. So this was one disadvantage or criticism. Its explanation is not found yet. Another is nebula was rotating in some direction. Why not every planets or every satellites are moving in that direction? So according to nebula hypothesis, all satellites and all planets should spin in the same direction. Spin mane ghura, spin in the same direction, but it is not true. Saturn and Jupiter actually rotate in other direction. Few satellites of Saturn and Jupiter are moving in another direction, and Venus and Uranus are also moving in. They are moving clockwise, but all planets are moving anti-clockwise. So remember it. All planets move clockwise, this is clockwise, and Venus, Uranus and Venus move in anti-clockwise direction. So this was also a criticism. According to scientists, everything should move in the same direction. If the nebula move in anti-clockwise direction, the satellites, natural satellites, okay, natural satellites, planets should move in that direction only. Why they will like change their direction? So this is one of the criticism, one of the important criticism of the nebular hypothesis. So nebular hypothesis is finished here. Thank you and study well.